The Lakers may have only walked away with one preseason win, but let's get something straight from the start. Preseason isn't about the scoreboard. It's not about meaningless fourth-quarter comebacks led by deep bench guys. What truly matters is the real on-court identity of your core players. How your starting lineup looks, how your rotations click, how your new additions fit. And in that regard, the Lakers just quietly gave us something that shouldn't be ignored. Let's talk about the real story. Not the record, not the panic, the real performance. This preseason was about seeing how the Lakers' biggest offseason moves, Marcus Smart, DeAndre Ayton, and Jake LaRavia, would translate to the floor. And out of that trio, it's Smart and Ayton who are already starting to change the entire feel of this team. Marcus Smart only played 2 preseason games, logging around 22 minutes per night. On paper, his numbers don't scream superstar. 7 points, 1.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 2 steals, 45% from the field, and 25% from deep. But here's the catch. They didn't bring Smart here to be an offensive savior. They brought him here to change the defensive heartbeat of the Lakers. To bring that bite, that edge, that accountability that has been missing for far too long. And the moment he stepped on the court, the tone shifted. It wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, but it was loud enough to feel. Every possession, he was barking orders, pointing, rotating, clapping, yelling at guys to get back. And that's not just leadership. That's culture setting. Let's rewind to last season for a second. The Lakers were a bottom 5 team in fast break points allowed, giving up nearly 17 a night. That's 17 easy buckets, just off not hustling back, not being organized, and letting the opponent run the floor freely. For a team with championship ambitions, that's unacceptable. It's been their Achilles heel for years now. And Smart? That's literally the thing he thrives at fixing. When Smart was on the floor this preseason, you could see it. The communication, the urgency, the structure. It wasn't just him sprinting back, it was him making others sprint back. That's what real defensive anchors do. They don't just guard, they command. They make everyone else better. And then came the final preseason game. Against Sacramento, the Lakers allowed only 7 fast break points. 7. That's less than half of their usual average from last season. 4th best among all teams in their final preseason matchups. And yes, that's not a coincidence. That's the Marcus Smart effect. His voice, his organization, his demand for defensive discipline. Smart also talked about this post-game. He said that defense is contagious. When one guy sprints, the next follows. When the leader demands accountability, the rest of the team listens. And that's exactly what the Lakers needed. Someone who doesn't just put up numbers, but sets a standard. Even in just 2 games, 2 small preseason games, Smart left fingerprints all over their defensive DNA. And for a team trying to build something bigger than highlight plays, this matters more than anything else. Because in the playoffs, it's not the team with the most dunks or threes that survives. It's the one that locks in defensively when it matters most. This is why you don't judge preseason by wins and losses. This is why you look deeper. Smart's impact doesn't show up in box scores. It shows up in effort, in urgency, in how fast your team gets back when a possession flips. And the Lakers? They just showed a glimpse of a team that finally understands that again. So yeah, one win may not mean much on paper, but what Smart brought in those minutes might just be the foundation of their entire season. It's not just about getting back on defense anymore. It's about changing the entire mentality of this team. And Marcus Smart isn't here just to guard his man. He's here to make sure everybody guards theirs too. When Smart talks about setting the tone, he means it. He's not asking, he's demanding. During a post-game moment, Smart was asked about the lack of physicality Luka had mentioned compared to their own practices. His response was simple but powerful. Just follow my lead. That's it. No long speech, no overcomplication. Follow my lead. He made it clear, he'll set the tone every night, and it's up to the rest of the team to match it. He wasn't just talking about himself either. He mentioned Jared Vanderbilt and Gabe Vincent, 2 more guys who bring real defensive juice. These 3 together aren't just defenders, they're tone setters. They bring a level of energy that forces everyone else to either step up or get left behind. And that's exactly what the Lakers have been missing. Last season, they were passive. Too many slow closeouts, too many lazy transition possessions, Too many moments where stars like Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura coasted on defense because they knew someone else would pick up the slack. But now, that's changing. Smart's not here just to cover for them. He's here to push them, to make even the stars commit to defense, to yell, to clap, to point, to lead. And honestly, that's exactly what this team needs if they're serious about contending. Let's be real. Last season, their transition defense was a mess. They were giving up nearly 17 fast break points a game and were bottom 5 in the league in steals. And when you're giving up easy buckets while not creating any turnovers, you're playing from behind every single night. But now, they've got one of the best defensive playmakers in the league in Smart. This guy averaged 2 steals per game last year and brought that same energy in preseason. Add Vando, who averages over 2 steals per 36 minutes, plus Jake LaRavia, who quietly adds over 1 steal a night. And suddenly, this team has a real defensive engine. That's what Smart does. He doesn't just fit in, he changes the system. He makes chaos on defense. Deflections, steals, traps, pressure. And those little plays, they stack up fast. They turn defense into offense. They shift momentum. With Smart healthy and leading that defensive charge, this Lakers team isn't going to be giving away fast break points anymore. They'll be taking them. And for a team that's been soft in transition for years, that's a massive shift. But Smart isn't the only piece here. The other big storyline from this preseason is DeAndre Ayton. And if Smart brings the fire on defense, Ayton might just be the spark plug on offense. Here's the thing. Ayton doesn't need to drop 30 a night to be valuable. He just needs to own his role. And throughout preseason, that's exactly what he did. He committed to defending, he committed to setting hard screens, he committed to rolling with force. And that's the version of Ayton the Lakers desperately need. And then you add Luka Doncic into the equation. Luka is one of the best pick-and-roll ball handlers and lob passers in the entire NBA. Ayton is one of the league's best lob threats and screen-and-roll bigs. You put those two in the same action consistently, and the ceiling is sky high. Yes, their preseason connection wasn't perfect. There were a few misreads, a few bad lobs, a few timing issues. And of course, some fans overreacted like it was the end of the world. But let's be honest, they only played 2 games together, just 4.5 quarters. That's not chemistry time. That's a first handshake. This pairing is going to click. Ayton is elite in pick and roll. Last season, nearly 28% of his possessions came from that action. He averaged 4.5 points per game off pick and rolls and scored at a 58.2% clip. That's elite efficiency for a big. And when you pair that with Luka's ability to draw 2 defenders, thread impossible passes, and lob with perfect touch, it's only a matter of time. One clean lob connection can break a defense. One hard roll can shift spacing. One dominant PNR combo can change how defenses guard an entire team. And when that starts happening consistently, the Lakers' offense is going to feel different. So here's the bigger picture. Marcus Smart is giving this team its defensive soul back. DeAndre Ayton is giving them a real pick-and-roll weapon. Together, they're laying the foundation for a version of this Lakers team that's faster, sharper, more physical, and harder to beat. And when Luka's passing meets Smart's leadership and Ayton's interior presence, that's not preseason noise anymore. That's the blueprint of a team built to win. After Ayton gets the ball off the pick and roll, the defense is instantly on alert. His efficiency in that area isn't just solid, it's elite. Last season, he ranked among the top 7 players in the entire league in pick-and-roll scoring efficiency. And here's the wild part. He did it on a team that had one of the worst playmaking cores in the NBA. Imagine that. So now pair that same Ayton with Luka Doncic, one of the most dangerous pick-and-roll ball handlers in the world. And you can already picture the chaos that's coming for opposing defenses. Luka ran pick-and-roll plays nearly 37% of the time last season, generating 10 points per game off those sets, while drawing fouls 16% of the time and turning the ball over at just 11%. That's insanely efficient. Put that next to Ayton, a natural lob target and mid-range threat, and suddenly you've got an offensive weapon that can break games wide open. And the scariest part? This pairing has layers. Luka can hit Ayton on the lob, sure, but he can also find him in the mid-range at where Ayton's soft touch creates deadly spacing. He can dump it off around the rim. He can stretch the defense with floaters between 5 to 8 feet. Luka, on the other hand, can burn defenses in multiple ways. Pull up threes if defenders sag, attack downhill if they hedge, or hit mid-range jumpers if they switch. This isn't just your average pick and roll. This is a chess match with Luka as the grandmaster. Even Ayton himself feels it. After his first game with Luka, he couldn't hide his excitement. He talked about how much attention Luka attracts, how defenses scramble when he's on the floor, and how those openings free up the entire team. Luka's communication stood out to him, telling guys where to be, what reads he's seeing, and how fast he wants the offense moving. Ayton said, "He's out there pushing the pace, throwing the ball up, kicking ahead. Even when it's not perfect, it changes the whole rhythm of the game." And that's exactly what the Lakers have been missing. A two-man game that's fast, dangerous, and reliable. For Ayton, it's not just about offense either. This is a contract year, which means his energy, his commitment, and his intensity are on another level. He wants to anchor this defense, and he's been backing that up all preseason. Defensively, Ayton has quietly been making a statement. He averaged around 2 blocks per game in just 24 minutes during preseason. A pace that would be a career high if he carries it into the regular season. His footwork looked sharper. He switched more confidently. He was vocal on the floor, directing rotations. And while preseason defense isn't the best measuring stick, Ayton's commitment was real. Rim protection, rebounding, defensive presence, these were all missing pieces for this team last year. But Ayton has the potential to check every one of those boxes. He averaged nearly 9 rebounds per game in preseason, including almost 2.5 offensive boards in limited minutes. And when you combine his impact with Marcus Smart's perimeter defense and leadership, you're talking about a team that's addressing its biggest weaknesses head-on. This isn't hype. It's what the Lakers have been desperate for. Transition defense, physicality, rim protection, energy, and toughness. Ayton and Smart bring that. No excuses, no gaps. So now the real question is, how fast can this click? If they maintain this energy into the regular season, we might be looking at a completely different defensive identity.